Hi everyone, so today we are going to talk about a new watch from Epos, and skeleton watches usually are quite tricky genre, so either you get it right or you get really weird design compositions, and today we will be talking exactly about such watch. So this is the stainless steel sports watch from Epos, from Switzerland, and I think it will be interesting to see how it actually fares in the real life and what it actually has to offer for quite a, I would say, special price tag. So first, let's start with the dial of this watch, and the size of this watch is 41 millimeters, so it's not such a huge composition and it's easy to wear. And usually I'm quite skeptical about the skeletonized dials because, well, they come with a lot of gold and other unnecessary additions, but here, as you can see, Epos decided to stay in reasonable borders, I would say, and the whole composition quite interesting in terms of the design, so I think it takes some time to discuss all of the features, and that's what we're gonna do right now. So first of all, indices are raised under the surface, and this makes the whole composition a bit 3D-ish. And I would say this is a useful addition here because it makes the indices easy to find, it's more legible in the real life, and of course the design looks quite unusual as well. Official photos actually show that there is a generous luminous layer, and it looks quite nice in the real life, so you will see it in some shots. And the prolonged oval shape, it actually makes it slightly bigger and avoids the classic dot design which is typical for the diver watches. Another great addition here is that we do not get any chrome borders, so it's just the pure white part. It's placed on the gray border in my version, so it's really clean and elegant solution, and I think it still looks modern. It avoids any unnecessary extra colors on the dial. I'm glad that there are no date windows or any other unnecessary additions. This is really useful here because we already have open movement here, and it would be really too much to have the date window and other stuff. And also the amount of the writings, if you notice here, it's only the Epos, Switzerland and Swiss made. I don't know why they mentioned the Switzerland and Swiss made twice, because maybe they want to remind you that the country where it comes from. But still, as I said, it's a really nice and clean design, and we have the logo placed here at the 6 o'clock, so basically all of the writings are concentrated in the lower area of the dial. For manufacturer's logo, I can also add that it is placed on the separate tab. You will see it also on the close-ups. I don't know why they decided to go this way. It would be more elegant to have this engraving of the Epos logo on the movement parts, but maybe this is something reserved for the future versions, who knows. But here we get it just on the top, which is right under the movement backplate. Handset here is more of a classic style, so as you can see, these are two large parts for the hours and minutes, and they also have the chrome finish, so this kind of makes them pop out over the surface of the movement, because the movement parts are more or less matte. And well, at first I had the idea that it would be cool to have the hands in the matte finish, but when I checked this watch in the person, I have to say that this chrome finish is quite smart because it actually helps you to find them, and it helps with the overall legibility of the watch, so I would say that it suits here. And if we talk about the second hand, so this is a thin part, it's also chromed, and we also get the luminous insert, but it is placed on the end of the hands, so that's why it's easy to find, and it's also easy to read as well. As for the matte surface, as you can guess, I mentioned it because we have the movement parts in this finish, and I have to say that it looks really great in person because it doesn't look cheap, and it also suits the overall design of this watch, especially with this gray finish on the dial. So this is, I would say, a match. It is something you have to check in the person because, well, the pictures do not give you the full understanding of how this timepiece looks in person, and I have to say that once you see all of the parts moving, it's a completely different picture from what you see on the official website. Another thing to notice is that there is no additional finish, no engravings, no the separate painting finish or anything else. So this is quite, I would say, unified look. And maybe this is something what is reserved for the future editions. Maybe we will see it on some limited editions, who knows. But I have to also say that use of the Super Luminova actually adds the visual interest to it. So I will place several close-ups so that you can see how it looks in the dark conditions. But this is a really great idea, and with these large indices and large hands, it works. And it works nicely because in the dark you will not see the movement anyway, but at least you see those indices and hands. Whole dial is covered with sapphire glass, and I'm mentioning this because from the rear we get actually the mineral glass. In my opinion it should work, but it's kind of strange not to see the sapphire glass from both sides. So again, maybe we'll see it in the future improved version, but here you get sapphire only on the top. I already mentioned the case size, but I have to mention the thickness. It's only 10.7 millimeters, so it's really sleek and elegant case, which is easy to find under the sleeve, and it's easy to wear, so you don't have to have the thick wrists. It actually wears nicely also on the small wrists, also because of the integrated bracelet, of course, but we will talk more about this later. And also we have here the classic stainless steel composition, so it is coming with the brushed surfaces, and it combines the mirror polishing on the edges. I have to say that I'm glad to see that we do not have the mirror polishing too much here, and it actually creates this a bit more rugged image. So here it suits, and as I said before, this matte dial and also brushed surfaces, they work together nicely, and you have to see it in person. As for the weight, it's not mentioned anywhere, and at this pace I will have to buy the jeweler's weights because otherwise I cannot measure it. When I judge by my feeling, having it on my hand, I have to say that it's not that hefty, maybe around like 100-120 grams. So, as I said before, it's very comfortable to wear. You have to remember that we have also the metal bracelet here, so it also adds to the weight. But I have to say that it's a must-have here, so that's why the whole composition should work only like this. But we will talk more about this later. And in the meantime, I have to mention the crown here. So this is something what deviates with the classic sports watches from other brands, because they usually do this part really small. Here it is quite big. Epos also decided to play around this and place the crown protection from both sides. At first I thought it's a pushers, but it's actually just the protection, but it also works with overall style. On the crown you'll also find the E, it's Epos logo, so it's quite nice engraving, and there is nothing extra on the edges. And overall it's more or less classic angular structure and design, and I have to say that it looks really good. The quality of the assembly is top notch, so there is nothing to say extra to this. And I think we can move to something what is exposed here on the dial, the movement. So caliber inside is Sellita SW200. This is a well-known movement, and you can see it from both sides because we have the clear case back as well. And well, the power reserve will be 38 hours. It's not big, but I think it's enough for everyday use, and it's automatic movement with the rotor from the opposite side, obviously, so it should be okay if you wear it every day. I really doubt that it will stop. As we already mentioned, the movement parts are finished in these matte surfaces. There is no special finish overall. There is no even additional engraving on the rotor, so I do not know why they missed such an opportunity, but maybe that's the feature because it keeps the under radar look, and it's something what might be appreciated by some of you who would like to have an open dial but without any shiny elements or something blingy on their wrist. Usually next I'm talking about the strap, but here we have the metal bracelet. I would say something synonymous with the stainless steel sports watches. So in my opinion, it has to be with the metal bracelet, and here we have exactly the proper combination. And I have to say that the bracelet finish is really great. So we have here the brushed links, and we have also the Epos logo on the buckle. And we also have the twin clasp. So that's why it is quite easy to handle. It's really a nicely wearing bracelet, so I don't have any issues with this. And of course you can find some alternative from different materials, but I would strongly advise against it. I think this watch should stay with this metal bracelet, and then you will have the proper design. When you look at the official pages of the Epos, you will not find the wrist shots. There are only a few of them. So I hope you will find useful the ones which I'm placing here in this video review, and also there will be some photos in the article. But well, first of all, I have to say that I was skeptical about the whole skeleton dial on the sports watch. But here it looks quite in place, and maybe that's because I'm having the gray version. There are also some other color versions. I think this watch should be in this gray version. In this case, you are getting really elegant and balanced design, which looks even greater in a person. So that's why I was strongly recommending to check it in the shop. It also benefits from the sleek profile, so it nicely wears. The metal bracelet is not an issue here, so overall it's a very good everyday composition. In some previous video reviews, I was saying that the whole idea of the stainless steel watch got overused by various brands because we see them basically almost from every watch manufacturer. Nevertheless, here Epos decided to play around this idea and place also the skeletonized dial. There are only few brands who offer something comparable, and I have to say that I was pleasantly surprised when I checked it in person. And this is also my first encounter with this brand, so I have to say that it's really good looking watch with a high quality, so definitely worth its price. And if I'm mentioning the price tag at the day when I'm shooting this video review, it's 2000 euros, so definitely not a small price tag. But for this price, you get in the Swiss movement and also Swiss assembled watch with the high quality components and exposed dial, the skeletonized dial. So this is really great feature. So if you would like to get something what is non-popular and something different from the common brands which you see on the wrists and which are published on various websites and magazines, this is one of them. I think this is a really great chance to be different from the mainstream and also to have something special, because here you get not only the stainless steel sports case, but you also get the skeletonized dial with a really good movement inside and with a really nice finish on the top of this dial. So in case you agree, I would be happy to hear your opinion, so do not forget to write it in the comment section below. In case you do not agree, write what do you think about this watch, and I would be happy to reply. And of course, do not forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.